one of the most annoying and time-consuming tasks in any online course that has Zoom sessions is downloading those Zoom sessions from cloud recordings and then uploading them back to YouTube and posting them onto CHURCHx courses. So I've created a plugin that automates that process and is far superior, in my opinion, to the old LTI integration that we were using before. So here's an example of what it looks like. I'll go into student view to give you a look at what it looks like as a student here. So this is a course on Christian ethics that is being taught by Huron University. And you see right down here, it's Virtual Classroom and Zoom Link, and this is the new plugin that I created. So the way this works from a student view is this button right here shows me the time of the next pending meeting. If there was not a pending meeting, if it had already passed, I would only see the View Recorded Sessions button. If this meeting was joinable right now, and you can set the criteria of when the Zoom meeting is joinable, like 15 minutes before class time or 5 minutes before class time. You can turn off or on whether or not you want a waiting room and other kinds of Zoom features like that. But anyway, from a student point of view, it's very simple. You just see a button right here. And if I click on this, because it's not an active meeting right now that I can join, it's going to do the same thing as though I had pressed the View Recorded Sessions button, which is that it takes me to this page here for the Zoom sessions. So it's giving me very prominently the next session time. This is, of course, configurable text here. You can say that's the description. And then a message, you're unable to join at this time. That's fine. And then you get the recorded sessions that have already happened, as well as the schedule for when they normally happen. Okay, so if I click this one, for example, it opens a modal which has the recording of the Zoom session. And one of the nice things that I've added here is there's this running transcript on the right, which is synced with the place in the video. So if I pause this and stop it, I can skip ahead to something about well, we're Anglican, right? So I can click on that and it just jumps to that section of the video. The other thing that's nice about this is a searchable transcript as well. So if I search for a term like Christ, I'm going to find, not surprisingly in this course, it appears 95 times. And I can just find next to go through this entire transcript. And when I find one that I want, I click on it, and it takes me to that place in the video. Another thing that I've added here is you can toggle subtitles on and off right on top of the text if you want, right on top of the video. And you can also if this had multiple languages, like if there was a French subtitle track, and the person had French mode on, then it would automatically be showing both this and the transcript on the right here would be shown in French instead of English if that was available. The fallback is English if there's not multiple languages in the video, but that is a nice little feature for supporting multiple languages. This text down here, recorded sessions and so on, that's also customizable, and that's actually pulled from the YouTube description, which can also be modified right from inside the CHURCHx platform. So what it'll do is, this is the student view, so it's very simple. And by the way, you can do this in list view instead if they want to just see the list of all the sessions, or tile view like I had before. Okay, now let me show you what it looks like in the non-student view. Return to my normal role. All right, so now, for example, I see this test video over here on the right, which students don't see. It's hidden from students. Okay, but if I can click this Manage Recordings button here, and for instructors, this gives them a list of the sessions that have happened that were recorded onto the Zoom cloud, and whether or not a transcript was available and so forth. And then that's this one right here. So sessions is like what it sees when it logs into Zoom and checks for recorded sessions. And then session recordings here, this is when they are uploaded to YouTube. And what's cool about this too is I can modify these descriptions. So this is the Zoom description that appears on the Zoom page. And if I save the changes, it'll sync that back up to YouTube. And that's the same for the YouTube title. So in other words, I never have to even touch my YouTube account to update descriptions and names. I can just do them once in CHURCHx and they appear. If you were to do it the other direction, it also works. It'll pull in an updated description from YouTube or an updated title and update it in CHURCHx as well. So there's a full sync happening between YouTube and CHURCHx. And it happens on a scheduled basis, but if you want to trigger it earlier, you can just hit sync and it'll do that. Same thing for Zoom. I do have it set up so the Zoom syncing should happen automatically when a meeting has ended. It'll send what's called a webhook message, and it will trigger a sync with Zoom. But again, you can manually do it if, or you can wait for it to do it every 2 hours, which is what I think I currently have it set at. All right. So the whole point of this is to make it really simple. So the way it works is you schedule, as an instructor, you schedule a session, you join the session, and when your session is over, it is automatically downloaded. The transcript is downloaded as well. All that stuff is downloaded, and then it is posted to YouTube on your behalf. And then the video appears automatically in the CHURCHx course without you having to do anything. So that's pretty cool. And then, except maybe if you want to clean up the titles and the description a little bit to make them more interesting if you want, and like set a thumbnail and stuff like that. Incidentally, in terms of the settings that are available, basically this is where you set the schedule for the meeting, and whether it's a recurring meeting or not. This basically preserves all of the settings pretty much that are available in Zoom if you were to have set the meeting in Zoom, such as the ability to create breakout rooms, activating the waiting room, whether join before hosts is allowed, early access, and all this. One of the really cool things about this, by the way, and by the way, you can select like which YouTube channel is used. And if you don't currently have a YouTube channel or you want to change it, you can of course trigger a switch, and it'll give you a chance to change the YouTube channel. And you can have a default YouTube channel, of course. One of the cool things that this is doing in the background is around the hosts and assigning hosts. So what you can do in the global settings is set how many licenses are available from your pool of Zoom licenses to be rotated among instructors. So let's say you have 10 total licenses on your Zoom account, and you want to make 5 of those available to be rotated among a pool of instructors. Then you would set that at 5, and then what it'll do is, if it needs to assign somebody host privileges, like make them give them one of the licenses temporarily as an instructor to start and host a Zoom session, it will do that automatically. And it just goes to the it removes the license that was the oldest, the most stale, and replaces it with the new host. And then if that old person wants to get back on the Zoom license, it's no problem. It just does it automatically as soon as they try to launch a Zoom session from this plugin. So that's a pretty nifty feature, that it automatically manages the licenses. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty straightforward, pretty cool thing. Oh yeah, one more thing to note about this that's kind of cool is if I go to, it's under the settings here, we can do activity completion here. And so if I turn on activity completion, I can set a condition that in order to get credit, for completion, they have to attend it for a certain amount of time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever. Or you can also alternatively set it so that they have to watch the already previously recorded video, and you can set a required percentage here of the video watching. So you could say they either have to be on the call for 45 minutes or watch the video of the call for, let's say, 75% or something. So you can set those criteria as part of the completion criteria, and it'll automatically track whether students have done one of those two things, either watched the video or attended the live session. And if you set it at 0, then there's no video watching, doesn't count. You have to be at the live session. So again, the intention was to create something. Still have that. There we go. Actually, I'm just going to cancel because I'm not making any changes. Again, the idea was just to make a really simple method for students to get at what they want most, which is the Zoom link and the recorded sessions that have already happened, and to reduce the administrative burden on staff to have to manually download and record those. Now, if you're concerned about manually trimming the videos before upload, there is a pretty straightforward way. If I go to the account here in YouTube, and I go to your videos in the studio here, you see this is unlisted. By the way, you can set that to public if you want to, as the default for the plugin, that instead of setting them as unlisted, it would set them automatically as available. It's totally up to you. Anyway, so what I can do here is I can actually, let's see, details. I can go to the details here, and I can actually edit these videos right within CHURCHx. I'm sorry, within YouTube. And so if you are concerned about trimming the video, you can just like find your in point and your out point, and then if you hit save, it'll just automatically update the file right inside YouTube, so you don't even have to mess with it on CHURCHx if you don't want to. I could implement an editor, a basic editor kind of like this inside CHURCHx, but at that point I really didn't think it was that necessary. The other thing you can do is just have discipline around the start and stop recording on the cloud. Like if you know, like if you start the recording right when you want to start it and you stop it right when you want to stop it, then you won't have to do any editing anyway. So I thought that was a really cool new plugin, and interested to hear some feedback and some discussion about it. And thank you very much for watching.